Welcome to Subramani. One more idea from a reader when she asked this question that I'm a long time reader and we are coming up for our retirement. Just an idea for a blog post, because many of these questions are in my head. In all my planning, my head is spinning as I try to allocate the appropriate investments into the right cash flow buckets. Good, she's using the bucket theory. And at the same time optimizing the tax structure between SWP and dividend schemes and interest coming on my bank account from my bank account, while at the same time accounting for stopping PPF or continuing PPF and figuring out the best plan for my medical expenses and taking care of my 93-year-old mother who is staying with us. It becomes a bit overwhelming and it has me wondering how important it is for me to have the steps, and there must be some streamlined way of thinking. Could I get some answers or could I see a blog post on this? Good that you're asking, because when you say blog post you mean video, because I've almost stopped writing the blog. So yeah, so here are the few steps. I wrote down some of the steps, at least 10 I can think of. There are more than 10 actually. So the first step, Radha, I'm not going to repeat this name, so just Radha. There are a lot of steps which are required for you to retire, and so here are some 8-9 steps or maybe 12 steps that I have written down. I have not numbered them, so and please take them in the sequence in which I have given you. So first of all, prepare for retirement mentally. Understand that you are moving from the accumulation stage to the decumulation or the withdrawal stage, which is a little traumatic. Many of the rules which worked, for example, when the markets are down, it's a very good thing to do. When you're doing an SIP, it is very good. You could put more money because you're accumulating more units. Whereas in case of retirement, the fall in the equity market is not very good, and that is the time when you should withdraw more from your debt rather than from your equity market. So this is one major change. Of course, dividends are being taxed at full rate, so your equity portfolio, the more that you have in your direct equity portfolio, there will be more dividends, whereas what you have in your mutual fund portfolio, you will be able to decide when to withdraw. Another major thing, of course, is to put only into hybrid schemes, because debt is going to be taxed at the full possible rate, and since you have an annuity and you can decide when to withdraw it at 70, because the size of your portfolio, whatever it is, will give you enough dividends and for your day-to-day expenses, and whatever else you need, you should be able to do an SWP, right? So just defer your annuity by another 10 years because you are not at 60, and let it start when you are 70. So let us look at some of the important steps which are needed. First is to start building cash. In our during our when we were employed and we were in the accumulation stage, normally you would have had 2-3 months expenses, and that too, as you get older, you realize that you have enough money available in your credit card, etc., so you don't have enough expenses. Here I would suggest 1 to 3 years expenses, maybe 3 years expenses should be in your first bucket, right? The bucket from where you are going to withdraw, you should have at least 3 years expenses, because now there is one new risk which has come into your portfolio called the sequence of return risk, because if you withdraw in a falling market, replenishing that later on from selling equity may not be very easy. So during downturns in the market, you should be withdrawing more from your debt, your ultra short bond fund or any of those funds, rather than in having to remove money from your equity. So start building the cash, start building that bucket one. That bucket one you keep postponing, saying, oh, I will do this and I will do that. But of course, if you're going to get your PF, gratuity, etc., big portion of that can go into bucket number one. But yes, starting to build the cash required for your portfolio for your retirement is important. Second, try to sit down with your husband and try to find out how much you're going to spend in retirement. Remember, I have personal experience, and what I have noticed is from your 60 to 70, that's the age when your spending is maximum. You want to attend friends' sons' weddings, friends' daughters' weddings. Then you could be attending friends' 60th birthday, right? All these things within the family, outside the family, friends, relatives, all that you could be attending. You could be taking more vacations. So this is the time when your expenditure is going to be high. So sit down with your husband and estimate how much will be your retirement spending, because of course if you are spending less than your income, only then can you retire. If you are spending more than your income, then you go and find a new job, right? You are too young at 60 to be able to withdraw from your capital. You have to withdraw only from the appreciation and the interest that you get, right? So your bank FD you won't touch, but the interest that comes to your savings bank account, that you're going to spend, right? So you don't mind spending the income, but you don't want to touch your capital till your past your 70s, maybe 72, 75, whatever. And also remember, now you have to pay for insurance, because you have been covered by insurance by your company. It was not hurting you as an expense, but I think between you and your husband, the premium would be nowhere less than a lakh of rupees, about 8,000 rupees a month. So you have to estimate all those expenses, your vacation expenses, your insurance expenses, your car insurance expenses, and if you're going to replace your car in 3 years, some kind of money availability at the end of 2-3 years for that car to be replaced. So creating that corpus, all that is important. So having determined your retirement expenses, now go and determine your retirement income. How much money from which account is going to flow into your savings bank account from where you are going to withdraw? How much is going to flow? When is it going to flow? Is it going to be 1st of every month? Is it going to be 7th of every month? Whatever. Or do you want to do systematic withdrawal from some account where the money comes in maybe 3 installments even in the month? So it comes on the 10th, on the 20th, and maybe on the 25th, right? You keep 3 such withdrawals. That is also possible. So find out how much is going to be your retirement income. When I say how much is going to be your retirement income, maybe you're doing some consulting, maybe you're doing some teaching, some coaching, whatever. So for all that, if you're getting paid, that is going to be ad hoc and on different dates. So that way, plan how are you going to withdraw, when are you going to withdraw, what is the date of your withdrawal. And remember, if you need 30,000 rupees in a month which you need to withdraw, you need not withdraw it at a time. You can withdraw 10 depending on, or you say no, I pay the grocer on the 1st of the month, so I need money, so then you withdraw maybe 15,000, but the other 15,000 you may be able to withdraw maybe on the 20th and 25th of the month. So be careful. I'm not saying you should do that, but you can do that. You should remember, right? After you find that the gap between retirement expenditure and retirement income, let's say your retirement income is 15,000 and your retirement expenses are 40,000. So which means now you've done the next most important next step is to say how much is the gap. So in this case, the gap is 25,000, and you knew that the gap would be 25,000, and that money has to come from your other income, right? Your passive income. Maybe your bank interest is already that much, and maybe your bank interest is about 3 lakhs a year. So then you have already met the deficit, right? You wanted 40, you have 15, now then the 25 is coming from the bank. But remember that cash flow has to be planned, because the bank may pay interest only on a quarterly basis. So if you require money on 1st of January, you can't tell yourself, oh, 31st March I'm going to get some interest, right? So that's not going to happen. So plan that also accordingly. But yeah, first step is of course to quantify the gap between your income and expenditure, so that you know from where you can then start planning from where to withdraw. Once you have done all this, go and recheck your books and recheck whether your income is right, whether your expenditure is right, whether more can happen. Also, leaving a corpus of maybe 30, 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs in some fund for your medical emergencies could also be useful. When I started my medical insurance, I didn't bother much, but now that I'm perhaps more likely to claim, I have also done an SIP into pharma and healthcare funds. So that has accumulated well. So that amount today accumulated is about 3-4 times my insurance cover, and in my mind that is money kept for my medical expenses. So that does not really that does really help, saying okay, this money is for my medical expenses, so in case I withdraw it will hurt me less, right? Then have your retirement drawdown strategy charted, saying from where you will invest, from where you will remove, and when you will remove. Like you have a pension of 15,000 rupees. Now that 15,000 rupees will mean less and less as time goes by, because it's not indexed so well. So 15,000 may go to 17,000, but your requirements may have gone up much further. So find out from where you are going to withdraw. Obviously you know about the bucket theory, so put your money in different buckets, and then you can obviously you would have already done delay the pension. And if you are in US, you have to do your Roth conversions, right? You have already said the bucket theory you are implementing. Then the tax location efficiency, do you need to withdraw from your PPF, right? So you shouldn't be figuring out on health insurance, delaying as much as possible the start of the pension. So right, so you can use calculators, you can use I would prefer, if you don't have an investment advisor, go to an investment advisor. This is a sensible time to do it. Design the retirement paycheck that for the the date when the money is hitting your bank account, so maybe on the 7th and the 14th and the 20th or whatever. So plan that, right? So you have a bucket one, which is cash, which is short term spending, which is ultra short, liquid fund, bank deposits, etc. Mid-term spending is some kind of a hedge against bear market, so you could have 3 to 5 years, sometimes 7-6 years of spending, so that you don't worry too much about the down market, which is may happen, may not happen, whatever. So then bucket 3, bucket 4 is the charities that you want to do. Bucket 3 is the long term spending, the protection against inflation over a long period of time. Now that you still have that risk of living too long, right? So now that you have done all this, you then keep modifying your asset allocation as need be on the 1st of every month, or on the 1st of every year, or on a 6-monthly basis. Also remember, I suggest you do a systematic withdrawal from your equity funds when the equity markets are booming, because it's the only way, or that's the best way to remove some money from equity, unless you say, okay, since my ratio is tilting against me, I will sell 50 lakhs worth of equity and put it into debt funds. You may not want to shift money so quickly, you may keep postponing. So the best is to, let's say your gap is 25,000, start withdrawing that 25,000 from a good equity fund, right? And when the market comes down, then you can withdraw from your bucket number 1. Consider your health insurance. So see, this is a big elephant. So the question is what steps. I'm sure somebody else can come with another 10 steps where none of these 10 are there, right? So you have to find out, but yeah, these are the good first 10 steps that you have to take. So Radha, I hope I have answered your question properly. Thank you.